It is another day and another dose of Did You Know? And with me today is one of my beautiful, passionate, exotic friends, Miss Laurie-Beth Robbins. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, but getting better. So there still is time. Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
I am so glad. And this is like mid-afternoon for Laurie-Beth. She has a different time clock than the majority of us.
I do. This is my midnight. Actually, this is my 6 p.m. and then 6 p.m. is my midnight. So I'm an early, my alacrity and energy is 3 a.m. If you want a check sign, 6 a.m. is best. But 12 noon works beautifully for me too. So I can meet you in the middle. I can.
Yeah.
In the middle, something.
She can always shake and move. But tell the world, who is, in a little snapshot, who is Laurie-Beth Robbins?
Well, that depends on who's asking, and that depends on what's involved, right? There are many rumors about that, but I would say there are different versions of it. I suppose the pickup line version is that I'm a talkative, evocative shield maiden who loves to eat. But the professional blend of that is that I am an extemporaneous speaker, in that all of my speaking is entirely unscripted and no notes or teleprompters involved whatsoever. And a humorist, because I do believe we must bring the funny and the honey in the world, and I delight in bringing both. And I am a gourmand, or gourmantic, in exotic, healthful cuisine, and a 100% self-taught chef in that little, albeit luscious, food genre. And then I'm also a certified wine connoisseur, and I like to add a wine cougar, if you will, because I like my men older and my wines younger. Yes, I don't sell or save wine, I drink it. But all of those passions doth spilleth over into purpose when I stand and deliver each day in an edutainment way, and as a reacher, teacher, and preacher of sorts, and try to entertain, engage, inform, inspire, and improve the world even in a tiny little bit. And so if I can link people up to the truism that life sure is good again, it really is. If I can remind them of that each day with those passions turned into purpose, then how grateful am I?
And do you see, like, when I gave this description, I was trying to be as eloquent and I'm writing it out and I'm like, this is the best that I have, because
love it.
That's Coach Danny's version of it.
Yeah, well, thank you. We all share our gifts in so many different ways. And I think that's the beauty of it, that people have to share who you are, you know, that expression, I love you. Don't be a first-rate you, and don't be a second-rate someone else. And so we all come to the table with different things. And that's the best damn dinner party, is everyone with their different things, you know?
Yeah, never get bored in there. But you've had an amazing life. You have created different things. Like, when you look back, like, even as a child, could you imagine yourself who you are today?
Well, you know, I came out of the womb. My mom was pregnant with me and ready to be induced because I was the false labor for too long. And she said to my father, if I'm going to have this child, I want a righteous steak dinner and wine. That was back when pregnant women drank wine. Now she doesn't want to admit that, but she did. And so and she had just finished scraping her porterhouse to the bone and having her wine when she was whisked away from a white tablecloth to a white roomed hospital room, and I was born. And so the power of suggestion was planted, and I came out of the womb demanding a Premier Grand Cru Bordeaux, or the doctor Judy says this, the jury is still out on it, but the seed was planted. And by 6 years old, I was asking my parents for octopus and frog legs in rural Vermont, no less. And we don't know where that came from. It wasn't our black and white television with 2 channels. It wasn't Friends that way, and they weren't eating that way. But they did their best with humble means, middle-income people, and they did their best, and they tried to expose and foster and uncork that interest and the curiosity and the palate that I had. And to their credit, they really did that. And by my teens, I was bartering with them to be taken to gourmet restaurants in reward for winning speech tournaments. And so the public speaking and the food were the 2 loves and distractions that pulled me into a zone. And that was indicative of who I would become as an adult. So sometimes you can't take the child out of the adult, and it's by evoking that childlike mind that we return to our roots and we know why we're here.
Gosh, when I was listening, I was like, it takes so long because we have all of these different passions within us.
Yes.
And sometimes we have to, we think we have to shut one off to go in one direction.
Yeah.
We have two speaking and food. So I could see being like, well, I could do one or the other, but there's nothing out there that is going to enable me to do both. So what was your thought process or your creativity to be like, I'm going to talk and become a chef and create, this is my business doing this.
Right. I decided I have to eat. So I'll definitely be eating and eating involved. Right. No, but it's funny. Someone asked me the other day, they said, can you tell me something you love to do? What do you love to do? And I said, eat. And they said, oh yeah, that wasn't what they were looking for, but I do love to eat, but that was part of it. But I think it's, so many people say you have to pick a lane. We have all these gifts and we have this big vat. That's why I say it's a blend. I'm a blend. I'm not a one-trick monkey, and I'm not, people do want to typecast a lot of people, and they want to put you in a box, and they want to say, well, what do? You go to a cocktail party. What is it that you do? Who are you? They want the business card. They want the one answer because their attention span can't handle more. But we can, and we can be multidimensional creatures. And that's why I also say with women and their hideous and insidious body hate and shaming, and don't look at yourself as one. You're a whole. You're a beautiful, multi-dimensional whole. And the same thing with your talents, your gifts, and your skills. You may not be here on one trajectory in the world to do one thing. You might be here to do 10,000 things. And all of these things are part of that. So can you allow yourself to be the creative entity, goddess, wonderful artist, whatever it is, business, entrepreneur, and bring everything to the table? Because just like when you're cooking, when you play on all cylinders, I think you have more. So if you do want to use your business hat and you do want to use your humor. And so for me, I knew that the public speaking pulled me out of my zone. It put me in my zone, and I didn't hear any of the outside world when I was in that. And the speaking was a magnificent, the food was a magnificent obsession. It was passion. It was exciting. I always think about what I'm eating tomorrow. I already know I'm having ribeye tomorrow. So I'm salivating like a Pavlovian pup, already future forward thinking. And that's where the passion is. But I don't think you have to pick a lane. I think that you can use all of your gifts. I really do. I'm a little irreverent that way. That's not the popular vote, I know. But I have had more success doing many things and keeping busy than putting all of my eggs into one basket. And I also feel happier tapping all these different parts of it.
Was there a time when you didn't have that figured out?
Yeah, I don't know that we ever have it figured out. I think that we move uncertainty all the time, but that is also arousing to me. I think that the uncertainty doesn't have to be fright. It can be excitement. And there were many times where I felt more from the pressure and the throngs of social convention that you must pick a lane. Where are you going to go to school? What are you going to major in? These are societal tenets that are put onto people, but we don't have to put those onto ourselves. And we can say, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to wake up. And now after the 4-hour work week and these books that sort of pave the way for create your lifestyle first and then your job, I think now it's far more de rigueur and common for people to have these lifestyles where they're doing what they actually love. And they're not draconian slave cubicle that they hated. People are quitting jobs and doing things. And now with this pandemic, people are forced to make some changes online, at home. A lot of things will shake up. So I think that there were many times when I didn't know, will this work? Will that work? But you try something and maybe it leads to something else and then to something else. But you are incorporating all of those things. Comedy goes into a wine tasting. Writing happens when you're doing something else. So it all blends together like a big goblet of wine, except I have water, not wine. But it's a blend. It's all about a blend.
It is. And I always get these images when I hear people talk. So as you're talking, because I have this very eclectic business, you know,
Yes.
from relationship coaching to life insurance to, you know, working with the military. I mean, it all has the common denominator of me serving. And
Yeah.
they've all kind of been created from, you know, from that place, and then seeing holes where it's like, well, there's an issue there. I will fix the issue. Now, and I've gotten much better at it, very impatient when these things, I can be so impatient. And I'm listening to you and I'm like, has cooking, now this could be my crazy thought, cooking made you patient? Because you have to be patient while you are in that creative state. So did that translate into other aspects?
Yeah, I always say that life is like peeling eggs, because the best way to handle that is to eat your mistakes and go make a better one. And so people get so impatient and so frustrated when sometimes you get that little membrane and you get it and you peel it and it's smooth, and sometimes it is so morbidly disgusting and ruined and pockmarked and chewed up, and you won't even feed it to your dog. They didn't hear that. They better than most people in this state. So they pockmarked eggs, but no, oh no, but sometimes it's awful, and people throw the whole thing and they quit and they get nuts. And I say, just eat that one and you go make another one. The gorgeous Sophia Loren said that mistakes are part of the dues we pay for a full life. So I guess I've had a pretty full life because I've made a lot of mistakes, but you eat those and you go make a better one. And so, yes, food does, for me, it's analogous to everything on the plate, is analogous to our gate out there for me. And it's one of these, as I say, it's very heartfelt, but I think that you have to move very quickly. Your patience is in the process, but move very quickly from the mistakes. Don't dwell in that muck. So be very intricate as you're trudging through the mud, but once you get stuck in it, now the arrow has been shot. You don't need to beat yourself up for it. It's done. But go make a better way. You can make a better egg in 3 minutes. Actually, it's a 3-minute egg. So you can, for that
3-minute egg. You taught me that.
On the delectable ooze, it's a 3-minute egg. So if it takes 3 minutes to be a little more patient and fix your life, I think we're all at least worth that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has. I'm going to take that as, yeah, so I need to cook some more to get the patience and get that going in my side of things.
Have a party and make eggs. And if you peel 100 of those, you're going to be the most patient person in the world. Or you're going to go slice everything up with a knife. But you'll eat a lot of mistakes, right?
Yeah, right? I don't need to eat, there's not that much I can do here. But I want to go back into this food, because your food is amazing. And you are self-taught, which is, okay, if you don't know who she is, you have to follow her page and her YouTube channel, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to even try to explain it because it will not do it justice.
Thank you.
Did you have favorite chefs that you would, necessarily watch, or styles, or?
My favorite chef is the Swedish chef, the Muppet, the Swedish chef. The one, no, it is that, he has a gun and the cabbage, and he shoots the cabbage and it explodes, and he has the blender top off and he presses it, and it all, I could still laugh as an adult with that. No, I love the Swedish chef. I have never watched the Food Network. I've never followed a recipe or measured. I don't own a cookbook. I don't measure. I don't know how, I suppose I should. I don't bake. So everything I do is more instinctive and layered. I've never had a cooking class, not even for a day or an hour or on a cruise or any of that. So, but I am moved beyond measure with so much respect and homage to chefs. I love Gordon Ramsay for his demeanor and his, I cuss a little more than he does. So don't be shocked if F-bomb comes out here, but it's always appropriate. But I have seen him on a show about hotels, where he went in and he renovated defunct, financially beleaguered hotels or something. So I saw him there. I haven't watched the food thing. There was a very sexy chef, Chef Jean-Christophe Novelli, and he was sexy and dark and spicy. And I just wanted to, go eat with him or something. But the food because I eat so minimalistically prepared. I mean, we're talking coffee dusted ostrich steak with gray sea salt and oil, no cream, no butter, no corn, no soy, no wheat. No, it is, I think the chefs would look at what I do and say, okay, you put some raw meat on a plate. That, my dear, is not a chef. Whereas I look at what they do and say, I love it, but it actually takes a lot. You know, you're working very hard to make it look easy. And that's the same with speech. It's the same with anything in life, as you know, with business. You're working so hard. Your mind is racing, your heart is pacing. You have so many things in your life that you don't, you know, if someone even knew a modicum of what you're moving through and what you're doing, but you do it and you make it seamless. And the same with food. It's simple, minimalistically prepared food. It looks like you just threw it together. When it took a lot to meticulously clean every edge of the salmon fat and every, you know, I had a speech coach. She was a Southern woman and growing up, and she, for some reason, called me Laura. I don't know where that, you know, call you what. She said, Laura, good, better, best. And you don't rest till the good gets better and the better gets best. And do you know, every day today, when I'm cooking, when I'm doing a video, I always think of that. And I live by that. She, you know, left an indelible mark on me that it's not good enough. I won't swim in the mediocrity. I won't just throw the salmon and say it's good enough.
Yeah.
Have to sear the cracklings, and if it's not right, no, I will go. If the egg, I'll eat the egg and I'll make a better one. If it isn't ooze, no, it is not good. Good, better, best. So I live by that, and I believe that we are not here to be mediocre. We are not here to dumb it down. We are not here to play small with our heart. I don't put a toe in. When I love hard. I don't. You do it with your food. I don't believe you do it with anything. You have to do it fully. So, but I love all chefs with respect, that what they do is amazing. It is grueling. They are also business people. But they also have a team. They have a wipe guy who comes in and wipes the plates and makes. I don't have a wipe guy. Okay. Yeah. I've got to do my own damn wiping, and we're in a toilet paper shortage. For God, all right, it's not that kind of a video, but I don't have a wife guy. I don't have a sous chef. I don't have, you know, so I'm doing it all. And there's a lot of passion there, but we all have different things. And I don't think one is better than the other, but I think that I love chefs out of respect, but I want to eat with someone who will have the simple, minimalistic, just 3 or 4 little drizzled oil, a few ingredients, healthful, lean. And that's the way I like to eat. So I'll eat differently, but say on that, eat what you love and what loves you. People don't have to eat what I eat, but I don't want to eat the gunked up, covered, smothered, melted eggplant parm with cheese and breadcrumbs. And I don't want that. But I think it's amazing that they made one and it's beautiful. And they might not want raw ostrich meat, and that's fine. But hopefully they can appreciate that it's beautiful. So it's just respect. I think it's mutual respect.
I love that your favorite chefs have really nothing to do with food. It has to do with them.
Cabbage with a gun and goes and it explodes, and I laugh and I love it, and I would take him. I take the Swedish chef. I would, you know, he's yeah.
That's a good one. But it is, you are what you eat. So right. So if they're creating from themselves, so that's a perfect actual answer to my question. Now I got to go into wine, because I stalk you about the wines, and I always try to go out, and it's a little harder now. But find the wine that you have. Now, do you just go and try every kind? And if you hate it, do you still drink the bottle? I mean,
no.
Is that what you're supposed to do? Because maybe you'll acquire the taste.
Well, no, you know, it depends a lot on budget too, because there were, you know, and that goes in different intervals in life. Obviously, there are times where you have this moment where you're really investing in that, or you're really investing in your house, or you're investing in your boats and toys, or you know, everyone has a moment where they're just putting everything into these passions. And then you go through a moment where you say, we're just going to enjoy the summer, or we're going to buy wine in the grocery store, and so there have been moments where I was ordering from Wally's in LA, you know, with the nicest wines in the world. And I still look back at photos and say, I need to do that again, or better yet, so when this thing lifts, I need to walk in there and drink it there. But I love Wally's just from afar and used to order from there. And that is one of these. But then there are moments where, for me now, the house wine, it's just from the liquor store or the grocery store. And I'd like it to be in a $20 range, because I always say to people that you should be able to walk in with a $20 bill anywhere when you're traveling on the road to visit relatives, and you should be able to get something at least potable that is absolute rock gut, loaded with try like. So I'm dealing with that right now and playing a little roulette of sorts, trying. I'm the litmus test. I'm the canary that goes in the coal mine. All right, it killed a lot of birds, but it saved a lot of men. But I'm the one who's very reactionary as a sensitive Sally. If I have a lot of chemicals, I'm allergic to bug spray. For God, I don't take an aspirin. So for me, if I have one of these really rock gut wines at a party, I mean, I'll be rashed and I'll feel it. So I'm trying to really feel out what I like and then get a case of that or stick with it.
As that's because you're so pure. Everything, you love pure, you eat pure. It's all intertwined now. And it's that ripple effect.
I hope so. I do believe in authenticity, and I do believe we must be the same person in every room. And that was a big part of my parents. So much of who I am is because of my parents. And I chose my parents well, even though I wasn't adopted, but I always say I really lucked out in that department. But their big thing was authenticity, and that there's a movie I always think of, Kevin Costner years ago. It may have been way back in 1987, or I'm showing my age, but No Way Out. I know No Way Out with Sean Young and Kevin Costner, and there's a trysting scene where he's with her at her place, and she was also having an affair with his boss. That wasn't what she wanted, but for the sake of survival or something. And he shows, and she says to him, "Oh my God, you've got to go out the back door. Go out the back door." And he says, "No. When I leave, it's through the front door." And that stuck with me forever. And I live by that too. I'm a front door person. If I'm not the same person in every room, authenticity, pure, you mentioned pure. I want the food to be real. I want the people to be real. If I'm not invited, depending on who's in the room, then I don't want to be invited, because I should be invited no matter who's in the room. I don't play that with, if I'm here, I'm here. And it doesn't matter who's listening. It doesn't change, so when I go or come, it's the front door. And I like the authenticity and the purity of that across the board, whether it's food or mood or the brood that we keep around us. So it is an integral part of me. It really is.
It shows.
Thank you.
It just is. Gosh, my favorite things, leave through the front door.
Yes.
I love that. I love, good, better, best. You're always like, simple ways to kind of just say to yourself to keep you forward moving.
Yes, forward. I'm a forward thinker, and that's my passion. And I know we're supposed to be present, and they talk about don't be in the past, don't be in the but my passion has always been, and it's the curse and the strength. So when, if I had one of those wonderful quintessential job interviews right now where they say, what's your weakness and what's your, they keep asking, it's the same thing. It's that I'm a forward thinker. So the weakness is that I could have a project due tomorrow. And I say, well, what's more interesting to me right now is the one due in 3 weeks. I want to think about that, but I need to say, stop it. Yeah. You're forward thinker, but you must do first things first. And that's a challenge for me every day. I have to say, no. You can do tomorrow. Single focus right here, right now. But the beauty of that is that you need someone who has fantasy, dreaming, visionary, foreseeability to say, well, what are we going to do if we even lift this off the ground? What are we going to do if the pandemic, when this opens? What are we going to? And I'm already thinking about, I have all my outfits for the next week lined up, and it isn't because I'm fastidious or organized. I'm far more creative and not logical. Logic and I don't is logic and I don't go in the same sentence or same taxi ride or Uber, right? But I have them lined up because it excites me. And so it's not as much about organization, but now I say, oh, on Tuesday I get to wear that. And the same with food. I already know it's the ribeyes tomorrow. I know which wine I'm having. I'm already sat thinking, will I use the harsh abrasive basil, or will I be able to find soft basil? Well, what oil? I'm already thinking forwardly. And so it keeps me going and it keeps me moving. But I know that I have to ground that when I have to get something done and off a task list. And so that's my challenge, is saying, oh, okay, that's nice. That's 6 months from now, dear. Let's get 6 minutes. You've got a phone call. You better do your thing now, So, but we all have that balance where we've got to pull ourselves back. But forward, I'm the one excited. Happiness for me is something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
But you do find it in the things that you love, because we have ate together.
Yes.
And you were definitely present when we are eating and we are devouring. Yeah. You were in conversation, because there have been times where I think we've looked at each other and it's been like, oh my goodness, it's been 3 hours. We didn't even pick up our phone.
3 hours and 10 bottles of wine later.
Yeah, I know.
Started, right. No,
right.
And I do believe when meeting, like I would never have a phone on when meeting someone, or I'm very present as far as that term of it, or that of it, but I get way too excited. I'm far more excited about tomorrow at the end of the day than what I have to do at the end of the day with the dogs, I'm like, what about tomorrow? And so I'm very out, there's a wine, pedestrian grocery store wine, Ecco Domani. And of course, in Italian, Ecco Domani, here is tomorrow. And if it was Ecco a Domani, here's to tomorrow. But whenever I see that, I think, yes, here is tomorrow. Here's to tomorrow. I'm a tomorrow. I'm an Ecco Domani person. And so that's one of these. It is a part of me. Yeah.
I love that. There's a little bit to learn from that. Yes, you got to get to business when you need to, but having that pleasure and thinking of, because I do believe we create our day and we don't spend time at all thinking of, I'm going to wake up and what is my day going to be, right? So you've already kind of laid it out. So any tweaks and move, you're ready to do, because you've already kind of got it, your display case of it.
Right. I've laid out the next 12 years. The only problem is God has different plans. So I don't... it's funny. My father told me, he gave me advice that his father, who was a headmaster and a politician, gave to him. And he said, if you fight about the small things, then you're a fool. But if you don't fight for the big things, then you're a coward. But the problem is, he didn't tell me which were the big things and which were the little things. All right. He said I had to figure those out for myself. And for all of us, those are different. But similarly, everything in our lives for us, forward thinking, not thinking, all of it for all of us is different. We don't know, what's big to one isn't to the other. What is important now to someone isn't as important to someone else. And so first things first may change depending on the person also. And what might be so critical that someone has to focus on today might not be for me, but what I have to focus on might not be anything they would get to until next week. So we all have to sort of do one of these too, and decide it can be very interpersonal too.
Of how that goes. So I love this question, and I cannot wait to hear your answer. I've been dying. It's like my final question that I ask everybody is, in this moment today, as we sit here, what is love to Laurie-Beth Robbins?
Oh, I love love. It's one of these, as I say, that's my expression, that it is living on voluminous energy, but living on LOV. Actually, that's an acronym, and I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Brilliance popping out everywhere.
Write that down. This is the joy of extemporaneous speaking, because you never know what's going to come from the depths of your heart, soul, and might, but you get some interesting gems. Living on voluminous energy. I didn't plan that, but that is an acronym. Love. It is my heart right now is so full. And so I have had such a heart opening. I just turned 50 on April 7th. And that was the age that I always thought I was. So I was this at the end of the summer in 4th grade. I had a size 10 shoe in the 5th grade. I came out of the womb wanting to eat octopus and these things. I wanted to drink the wine and didn't want to sit at the kiddie table at people's homes. I wanted to sit with the adults and talk about ideas and these things. And so I always was trapped in this, there was this horrible battle of this adult trapped in the veneer of a child.
Yeah.
And suddenly I turned 50, and this enormous heart opening, having done the work, found the self-love, the self-respect that wasn't there along the whole journey and sojourn of healing and dealing and flitting, in our 20s and 30s. I always say in our insouciant days as women, it's a tough age bracket for women, and fueled by insecurities. And you're trying to find your place and your space, and you want to be liked, and you've got so many issues and it's very, I think, very hard. And even for someone like me, I thought it was so an old soul and so evolved at 16, and I thought I was, even at 6 and then 26 and 36, but really it was only in my late 40s when I finally learned forgiveness. I was the last bastion. I could not get on that wagon no matter what anyone said. They would say, you don't do it for them, you do it for you. And I said, yeah, I get that, but I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'm a quick enough study to understand, but no, that's still not going to work. And finally, you do the internal work, you face a lot of your wounds instead of storing trauma and drama on the body and all these things we do when we don't face that. And I turned 50, and this huge heart opening happened where I have so much love right now. I am so ready to share my entire heart with the world right now. Every day I have so much love for God. I have such a strong relationship with God, and I have so much love for my friends, for my family of origin, for strangers. I mean, I hug every single person I meet. After this pandemic, I don't know that anyone's going to want that. I've hugged the garbage man and invited the mail lady in for kangaroo steak. And, I'm a hugger and a lover. But now it honestly is so far more magnified. And ever since I turned 50, it was like, now I'm the age. Now I'm getting started. Now I begin my real life's purpose and my most important work. And so I feel like my heart is open. My heart is ready. Some lucky recipients are just going to get so many love, and there's just so much, and I can't hold a grudge, and I can't not forgive, and I have a lot of love, and I just feel very beaming with that. What did we say? Living on voluminous energy. I don't know where that came from, but it's
that's what it is.
Born on the daily dose of Did You Know? So yeah, this is the happiest I've ever been, bar none. And it's the time that everything suddenly is starting. So I didn't do it the traditional path. I did a lot of these blends of wine tastings and comic gigs and teaching public speaking to college students, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, like a recipe, and piecemealing it together in tandem with traveling all around this big, beautiful world, getting into some harrowing scrapes, but also having some joyous meals too, and experiences. But now I feel like now it can really begin fully, because I now have that self-love and understand love and understand forgiveness and understand all of it, and that we must love. We must have the inhale and the exhale of love versus hate and bitterness. So yeah, love for me right now is full. It's full. Yeah. One of these.
Yeah. And that is something that we all, want to feel at some point in our life. And love is so changing and evolving. So what you feel is so encompassing now might be totally different tomorrow or a month from now. And that is why I love asking that question, because it gives you an actual recorded state of where your love was on this particular day that you'll have forever.
I love it. And it gave us an acronym. I will write that down. Living on voluminous energy, LOVE. That's what love is. Living on voluminous energy. The weird things come at 12. I should do 12 noon more often. This is a treat. No, but you're right. It changes. Everything in life changes. And that's something that I think, if there's a takeaway amid this time where the sky is falling, as people think, and Chicken Little has been busy, as they say, I think that we must remember everything does change, and the good and the bad. Nothing lasts forever. And so it behooves us all to find that love, to find that voluminous energy, and to live on that, and to know that we can change our aspect and view on it anytime we want to. We don't have to be bitter. We don't have to be angry. All we have to do is inhale and exhale that love. And wow, does it change things? It really does. It really does.
Yeah. Well, you have given so many beautiful takeaways about you and just love and life, and then like practical stuff about eating and wine and whining and all of those things.
Right. Go peel eggs and learn your patience and eat your mistakes. Right. I'm so glad. This is a treat. And, you're doing wonderful stuff with all of your dosing. I think that we all need a dose. We all need a pinch. We all need a wake up call. We all need to remember that the little things are really the big things. And
Yeah.
I think that's what these daily doses really are. And so you're doing God's work. You're doing God's work. So I'm happy to have even been a little splatter of it. How lucky am I? So thank you.
Oh, well, you always are right here. And to be able to share you with the world has been my complete honor. And as I tell everybody until next time, which is so perfect for my beautiful guest today, is love hard, love true, and love pure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So welcome. Mwah.
Ciao, ciao.